Geese. Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact. It's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we are jumping right back into that old favorite r/Tales of Neckbeards. And also some r/Neckbeard stories. But first, let's get the disclaimers and the plugs out of the way. Dang, I love that so much. We will be wrapping up the Wheezybeard saga today, so if that is what you are here for specifically, then you can go ahead and jump to this timestamp. But there are also a couple of other OPs that I would like to revisit just to get this episode to its proper 20-minute length, because you know I can't be one of those 10-minute YouTubers. We gotta beef it out, and we gotta bring it with the neckbeard cringe. So that is exactly what we are going to do. I have posted links to the first part of these stories in the description. Go ahead and check out the first parts if you haven't. And with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Dungeon Poppy's Beard Encounters, Volume 2. Devilbeard shows his true intentions. It's your friendly, nerdy emo kid, Dungeon Poppy, here to bring you the story of how my friendship with Devilbeard came to an end. At times, I may seem like a terrible or petty person, and there are trigger warnings for transphobia, homophobia, sexism, and animal abuse. Dang. FYI, I posted the first part on r/Neckbeard stories, but for some reason my post keeps getting removed, so I'm posting part 2 here. Yeah, the auto mod on r/Neckbeard stories is just out of control. When we last left off, Devilbeard had been thrown out of a sleepover for jerking off over one of our friends' faces. And a few months after that, he informed me that he was gonna move in with his dad. The move caused Devilbeard to switch schools, and it's not surprising that I was the only one who actually kept in touch. We mainly kept contact via phone calls or online, but on occasion one of us would make the hour-and-a-half trip to stay a few days with the other. It was on one of these occasions that Devilbeard would actually really piss me off for the first time. My friends group and I always had a rule that if we knew one of us was into a certain girl, then she became off limits to the others. And Devilbeard was included in this. It's bro code. Now, it hadn't been a problem before, because Devilbeard, of course, dated legbeards, 2 of which I actually have stories about, but that's for a later time. Post that. I need legbeard stories, post that. But he developed an interest in the girl of my absolute dreams, the one who put the poppy in Dungeon Poppy, and we'll call her Cinnamon, because her eyes are the color of cinnamon. Now, it was no secret to anyone except Cinnamon that I was massively into her. Her and I were friends, some would even say best friends. We always had each other's back, and to this day, we know each other pretty well. She's a beautiful, thick emo girl, monotone voice, wicked sense of humor. It's no wonder that an individual such as myself considers her absolute perfection. Devilbeard, however, did not share my view of her. He simply thought that she would be an easy fuck. He was aware of how I felt about her, and as I found out, he had messaged her, practically begged her for nudes, spammed her with his own gross wrinkly dick pics, and at one point met up with her. They kissed a bit, but apparently he kept asking her if she wanted to fuck in a JCPenney dressing room. God. What an offer. I think she respectfully declined. And yes, indeed, she turned him down. I found out about this, and I obviously was not happy. I was pissed, and I get his justification that she wasn't my girlfriend. However, we had the rule, and to me, he had broke it. We were mid-argument when he stopped me and said he was no longer interested. When I asked why, he said, "'Cause she smokes," which she only did on occasion. He apologized, and I really think that was one of the times that he was sincere. But it was also around the time that I started to notice how horrible he was actually becoming. Shortly after the Cinnamon incident, he told me he had a new online girlfriend. He called her Hopi, and I was utterly disgusted when he said she was just something to put his cock in. He referred to her as his little Necco slave, and insisted that we could share her, like she was some sort of object. and I guarantee you that that woman is not privy to any of this. I declined, and I told him that that was pretty fucked up of him. I would later find out that she was 13 and he was 18 at the time. Oh, God. Ooh. Maximum cringe. I hate it. 2 months from that, Devilbeard invited me to his place because he was graduating high school. I agreed, and I intended to stay about a week with him. I'd already graduated at that time, so I was pretty free to do whatever. I arrived that day, watched him graduate, and that night we ended up in an apartment complex where his grandparents were living. There was a small pond in the middle of the complex, which is right beside a small playground for kids. Probably where he met his girlfriend. A family of geese were walking around the small pond, and without warning, Devilbeard just started throwing rocks at them. Now, it is true, geese are absolute assholes in their own right. However, they were not happy about having rocks thrown at them and their kids. One of the geese actually charged Devilbeard, who ran by me, thus putting me in their line of sight. "Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?" I asked, as we both started running back to the apartment. Devilbeard gave no answer, but turned and threw one last rock, which hit one of the geese in the chest. When we reached the apartment and closed the door, he said, "Dude, you ran like a little bitch." I finished up that week with him, luckily with no more incidents, and went home. This would be the last time for a while that I would see Devilbeard in person. He moved from his dad's to his grandparents, who moved to New York. Devilbeard and I kept in contact once again via phone and internet. It was during this time that Devilbeard started to frequent 4chan. He started referring to people as naughty names and talked about SJWs like he was waging his own personal war against them. He ignored the topic of me being bisexual, and he broke up with his girlfriend, who got the courage to tell him that she wanted to transition to a boy. He would make jokes about how women were below men. He would talk about dating sims nonstop, and he even started saying things like 2D girls were better than 3D, and that they don't complain about rape. Yeesh. As time progressed, Devilbeard would somehow get kicked out of his grandparents. I'd always assumed it was due to not having a job. He called me crying one night and asked if he could stay with me. I was living with my mother at the time, who said it was okay. So Devilbeard took a bus and got a ride back down to Virginia and moved in with me. An event which marks the beginning of the end of our friendship. I'm sorry if this one was a bit more poorly written than the last story. There were a lot of smaller events this time as opposed to one big one. I'll post the conclusion soon. Until then, Dungeon Poppy out. Also, shout out to ReddX, yo, for reading part 1. Honestly, I highly encourage Devilbeard to participate in as many dating sims as possible, just so real people don't have to put up with him. God, what an absolute tumor of a human being. Sometimes I think that, 4chan isn't that bad, Sometimes I go to the VP board to talk about Pokemon, make some trades, and hang out. But then you hear about something like this, and you remember that there are other boards on 4chan, and most of them are full of cancer. Devilbeard was obviously spending some time in Pole. I think OP is probably too nice for accepting this guy back into his life, but I do understand wanting to hold on to old friends and not realizing how much they've changed and things like that. So I get it. You had to see it with your own eyes, seeing is believing. Even after he broke bro code and online dated a 13-year-old, which is just, wow. Never. That is about the point for me where I would have hopped on the Nope train to Nopesville and noped right the fuck out. I cannot be associating with someone like that. So I'm looking forward to part 3, the conclusion. I will slap it right in the title for a video once it is posted. And at that point we can bring yet another saga to a close, which is always a good feel. But now it is time for the pinnacle as we jump into the last part of the Wheezybeard saga. So let's do it. Wheezybeard Part 11, The Will. From where we left off, I had just moved in with Angel while my depression was at its absolute peak. She would ensure that I would go for daily walks, push me to shower, and just achieve small things. Oh, your sister is an angel. Angel was there for me as the funeral approached. Not enough time had gone by that could prepare me to see Wheezybeard. I would have no idea about the child that was in me for a while. We had not spoken since I had left the house. Ooh, heavy. I was asked by Good Grandma's minister if I would like to say a few words. I'd been with Good Grandma to her church a handful of times, and had met some of her friends. I sat there surrounded by Grandma's friends, and also with Angel next to me, holding my hand as the tears continued to flow. As expected, in walked Wheezybeard with Scum. Wheezybeard looked bored, and did not dress to the occasion, and had only put on a dirty black Punisher shirt with his regular cargo pants and New Balance shoes. Better than Crocs, I guess. Scum, on the other hand, was bawling her eyes out, complete black with a black veil and gloves. Many in the church gave their heartfelt apologies, but Scum waved them off, saying,
"They had no idea about the suffering that she was going through."
Many told her that Grandma would not want her to be upset for her, that she was with God now. Scum scoffed and told them,
"They had no right to tell her what they thought Grandma would want for her daughter, because there is no God. If there was, he wouldn't have taken her away."
She would then walk away from anyone who was expressing their condolences. She sat on a pew yelling,
"Please, leave me alone to grieve."
Everyone just gave her space. As the minister led us through prayer, and then in song, Scum could be heard wailing each word, and could barely contain herself. She was asked if she wanted to go outside with someone for privacy at certain points to compose herself, but she said,
"I'm not gonna be thrown out of my own mother's funeral,"
and would just continue to wail throughout the entire ceremony. I'm not one to mock a grieving daughter, but it was a little over-theatrical. Just a little. I was chosen to speak first on Grandma's behalf. I addressed all those present, telling them what a selfless, loving woman that Grandma was, how she blessed the lives of all those around her, and what a massive effect she had had on my life. I finished by reading her favorite Bible verse, and took my seat, barely able to contain the sobs. All Grandma's friends held my shoulders, telling me how much she would have loved that. Scum was up next. Oh boy. She was enraged that I got to go first, and was sure to let the congregation know that,
as her only daughter, they could not imagine the great loss that Scum was suffering, how close they were, and how now she would be all alone in this world, with only the love of her son.
She said she
hoped Grandma would send her a man who could take care of them now that she was gone, and would watch over her from heaven.
Then she broke down on the stage, screaming,
"Why?"
at the roof. Even at her mother's funeral, thinking only of herself. God, what a specimen. No one really wanted to go up and comfort her, as she pushed everyone away. Not even Wheezybeard, who left halfway through the service to
play his game outside.
Scum looked up and saw no one was coming, so she returned to her seat. After a few more words and songs, the congregation parted. There was a small RSL up the road, which from a quick Google search I have determined means Return Services League, mostly for like armed forces and stuff. But this is where they were holding Grandma's wake. Most people came to comfort me and thank me for my beautiful eulogy at the wake. Scum just sat at her table with Wheezybeard, who was on his DS. Scum went around crying on different men, wanting
someone to hold me.
A lot of men just gently turned her down, and one asked the bartender not to serve her any more alcohol. Good move. After an hour of mingling, I wanted to go home to finish mourning. Wheezybeard and Scum tried to come up to me to talk, but Angel told them to leave me alone. Ignoring and pushing past Angel, Wheezybeard told me,
I was part of the will, and I was just playing all goody two-shoes so I could get some of the inheritance.
That they were going to
contest my share, and that I should stop trying to benefit off of his dead grandmother.
Scum was there, backing him up, screaming that
I was a bitch
over the small crowd that blocked her out. I yelled back that she had only just come back because she burned all of her bridges back wherever she was. Angel had gone and gotten the minister, who took Wheezybeard aside and told him that he should not push his grief onto other people. The minister said that he knew Wheezybeard was hurting, but Grandma wouldn't want him to act this way. Wheezybeard started cursing at the minister. Classy. And as everyone tried to calm him down, Scum went in defending him and went to swing at the minister, but instead punched the minister's wife, and then attacked the security personnel as they were forcefully taken outside. God, I hate what a disaster this is. Like, why can't you just let your mother rest in peace? You have to make a show, make it all about yourself, even at her funeral. You'd think that something would click, something would change. But clearly that's not the case. They're only going to sink further into their own depravity. A few days later, I was sent a copy of Grandma's will. I was to get 1/4 of the sale price of Grandma's house. The solicitor tried contacting me with a plea deal that I would get everything in the house, forfeiting my share of the house sale. I said no because I had nowhere to store all of Grandma's belongings. They contested my right to the will, of course, but in the end, I won. Also, of course. Scum and Wheezybeard were infuriated. This was a few years back. I moved states with Angel and her husband and child. Last I heard, I posted this in the comments, Wheezybeard molested a 6-year-old, and the parents attacked him with a pipe, leading to him needing extensive surgery and prison time. I hope that he's still there. Yeah, baby, little bit of street justice for that pig. Scum spent all of her money on gambling and drugs, some on renting a house and furniture, which she ended up selling due to low funds. She tried to get friends to hassle me for money, saying,
I didn't deserve it, and what a wretched person I was for taking it.
I deleted my social medias and created new ones. I now have my own house close to Angel. I do want a husband and child one day, but in the meantime, I'm just enjoying my life, back working in retail, and have my house paid off. I never would have gotten so far ahead in life if it hadn't been for Grandma, so I am forever grateful for my time with her. Thank you so much for everyone reading. I'm hoping to put out a few more stories, but for now, goodbye. Well, like I said, they did indeed sink further into their own depravity, and there's a good lesson there in that money does not change a person, it just magnifies who that person already was. So OP, good, strong, level-headed person, determined to make her life a success, and so she has. You paid off your house? That is amazing. Congratulations. I'm still looking to do that for myself, you know? So even from heaven, Grandma's looking down, making these blessings possible, and it is a good ending to the story. Scum and Wheezybeard obviously continue down their self-destructive path. I love the thought of Wheezybeard getting the shit beaten out of him with a pipe to the point that it requires reconstructive surgery and he goes to prison. Boy, even if his face is messed up, he's gonna find some boyfriends in there, I'll tell you what. Big fat boy like that, he's gonna have the whole cell block hanging on those doughy tits. As for Scum, nobody's hanging on those doughy tits. And I think that's fitting. You know, she pushed away everybody in her life. She wanted to be her own person, and now she is. Unfortunately, in trying to be her own person, she ended up pushing everybody away, and the life that she ended up building for herself is absolutely pathetic. Obviously, by some miracle, she does have friends, but I don't think that they'll be around for very long. Especially when Scum runs out of money, and they realize exactly what kind of person she is. Like I said in the previous part, I do kind of wish that Wheezybeard had just outright died, but there was some comments on the last video that pointed out that that would just be too easy. You know, I think he should have to live with what he's done, suffer, agonize, get tortured every single day, just wake up and dread his life. And I think that is a bit of poetic justice. I thanked you in the last video for sharing Bright Rice, but thank you once again. This series has been absolutely amazing. If you do put out those few more stories, holler at me. I've already told you this in Reddit DMs, but I would be honored to read absolutely anything that you write. And I'm sure that all 4,500 now of my friends would be absolutely ecstatic to see your name again. So just say the word. I am at your beck and call. I definitely appreciate you sharing with us. Eventually, I will get these stories all together in like a giant 2-hour plus compilation, which I think is going to be really, really awesome. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And if you are, I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe and let me know. Do feel free to share this video around, although some of my other videos might be a better introduction since this one was basically to wrap up some stories that we had already done in the past. Just use your best judgment. That's all I'm saying. As always, I hope you'll check out the link swarm in the description. We've had the plugs for that already, but there are a few other links down there that weren't included in that splash screen from 20 minutes ago, so do check it out. And as always, I would be remiss not to thank my gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, generous patrons. You see some names popping up on the screen right now, but specifically, I would like to thank Lady Nix, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, Tato Ferret, The Last Shinobi, and Mark Dixon. Thank you guys so much for helping me to live the dream. It is massively appreciated. If anybody else wants to support monetarily, I welcome that. I highly encourage it. But if you can't right now, then don't worry about it. I just appreciate you coming through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out tomorrow. In order to do so, you'll need to keep yourself safe and healthy, and one of the best ways to do that is by washing your hands anytime, every time, all the time. But also take some time out to do something that you enjoy today, something just for yourself, because you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I will see you in the next one, friends, and until then, bye-bye.